friends, I promised you a rundown on the price of this shed build that you've all seen if you watch my videos. Let's start with how much money I saved by not having to buy a stick of lumber. And honest truth, I have milled every scrap of lumber used on this build. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, but you had to pay for the logs, didn't you? No, I didn't. Watch my second video. I cut a big pine down off my own property, and that pine basically cut all the rafters and lumbers for the beams, and minus the post, the 4x4 and 6x6 I got from my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is the one that brings me my logs now. They clear lots among other things, and I will show that later in the video. We'll talk about that. So we have an agreement that they bring me all these logs. They're basically mine. They are my logs. And I store them up on runners off the ground. And I will mill them lumber here and there when they need it. They build houses and stuff. But as long as our agreement doesn't get one-sided, I'll say, it'll work out good. When it comes to agreements, if both parties aren't benefiting, then it's not much of an agreement. I can't be getting the better end of the deal, and neither can they. You got to understand, it needs to be somewhere down the middle. So I got good family. It's good to have good family. Everybody has good and bad family. But anyway, I saved, if I would have bought the lumber for this build, I would have spent $1,402 plus tax. The metal roofing, I think there's about 10 sheets up here, 10 or 11. The roofing would have costed somewhere around $360 with today's price if I would have bought it. Now, the roofing, if you watch the video, was cover sheets and leftovers off of jobs. So I essentially got it at no cost, but my friend and I that I got it from, again, he's a good friend and we do things for each other. He needs something, I'm there for him, and vice versa. One of the true friends. You know, you got friends that call themselves friends that when you need help, they're nowhere to be found. He's not one of those. He's a guy that will help you no matter what. So he saved me, $360 on the metal. So in tallying up what I actually had to spend money on, and that would be screws and fasteners, the timber framing screws, the regular screws I put the beams together with, and 16 penny nails, I believe 8 penny nails I nailed down the purlins on top of the rafters with, about $60 in gas between my loader and mill, and the lights, construction adhesive, the few extra block I had to buy, the concrete and the mortar mix. I spent a total of about $600 on this build out of my pocket. That's what I've got invested so far out of pocket. Now, had I not had these connections that I've got, it's safe to say it would have costed me about $2,600 because adding that lumber and roofing cost is around $1,762. If you figure in taxes, I'm probably not adding enough. I'm just rounding it off to $2,000. So if I had to buy lumber and roofing, this would have been a $2,600 build. Instead, it's a $600 build. So I think that's pretty good for a building that wound up being 12 by 30 with a 15 by 32 roof line. That is the overhang of the roof over this structure, 15 by 32. Anyway, I'm going to quit yapping. I'm going to have a slideshow probably right after this. Don't know how long that's going to take, but there's over 100 pictures I'm going to put in here back to back of woodworking that I've done in the past. And if you like something you see in that lineup, just mention it in the comments. You might want to see a build on that in the future on my channel. I am going to be doing a swing video that I promised you all I would. I have a 4-foot cedar swing I got to build a friend of mine. So I'm going to get that. We're going to do an instructional on how to build them the way I build them, which is not much different than anyone else. I just have a few things I do differently, but hopefully at the end of that video, I will give you enough instruction that you can build one yourself. And if I do get enough interest in that swing, I may provide plans. Catching you all up on my log situation. When I first got my mill, I was wondering where I was going to get logs from, if I could find a reliable, steady source. And as you can see, I don't have that problem anymore. I've got my medium to big size logs there. The pile I'm standing on is small, medium to small log. There's a pile of slabs, and right over there next to my little trailer are the big boys. Those are your 30-inch and bigger, 28 to 30 inch over there. And there's a miscellaneous pile over there behind the kids' play set. So I actually had to tell my brother-in-law to quit bringing logs because I had too many. I was afraid that what I had, some of them would rot before I could get to milling the rest of the pile. But Lord, yeah, I've got plenty of logs, and what I did was put down a couple of runners for the logs to actually lay on, so they're off the ground. They're not sitting right on the ground. I probably have enough logs to keep me busy for a year or more, probably longer than that. But you can see the runner sticking out there, and right here, there's a runner. I mean, they're off the ground, almost a good foot. But part of these logs are going to be used for the cabin build. One-room cabin going right over there on the shallow end of the pond. And that will be a project for probably next summer. I'm going to start milling what they call D logs. And what that means is, if you look at the side profile, it is shaped like a D. Like, for example, this log here, it would be flat, 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 and then you'd have the natural face. It would look like a D. And the reason I decided on D logs is because I can take all these different sizes, and let's say, for example, I want a 6 by 6 inch. I can get that out of a lot of different size logs. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed the random clips of projects I've done in the past. I've been so hot and heavy on the bandsaw mill shed build. I wanted to kind of give y'all a little bit of the diversity of things that I do. I'm actually out here today at work. We're taking a break for lunch, so it's not against the rules for me to take a few minutes to talk about some things I'm doing here. A little bit about myself. I do want to keep some things private, but I was a volunteer firefighter for about 21 years, and I retired back in 2019. I did that because I had some knee issues, and I got that resolved, but my kids are young, and I just decided that I wanted to take the extra time I had and spend it with my kids, and just kind of focus on some other things in my life that I want to do. And I've given them, 21 good years. Great department. They're in good hands, and I felt like I'd given them all I had to give. But I work for my the county I live in. I'm an employee. I've got 7 years to go with them until I retire with 30 years of service. I'm in my mid-40s, so I started young. But just in case you're wondering, while I'm out here filming, I work on sewer pumping stations. I've done that for a little over 20 years now. And this is an aerial line here. I'm not going to talk about the county or even where I'm at, but what I'm doing out here randomly, just so you know, I know this is not about the video, but I'm out here using my masonry skills to lay new support pillars under this aerial line. You can see the old ones. They're kind of old. They're not going bad, but my idea to the upper brass here at the county was to kind of go ahead and do a preventive maintenance and get some new pillars in place. We dug and poured these footers yesterday, and we're going to do a double pier, fill it solid. It's going to be right. I've got 7 years to go, so I want to leave everything in good hands as best I can, so future workers don't have to worry about it. But it's pretty straight aerial line. I'm sorry I'm getting off topic. I know some people's going to see this. You might work in the field yourself, and you're wondering what's going on. So anyway, yeah, we dug the footers yesterday, and I'll probably lay the block next week. But little by little, this is a spring and summertime project. We'll get it done. But back on point with the video, I just wanted to show you a little bit about what I do, a little bit about myself, and like I promised you, next up is going to be the swing video. I'm actually going to be finishing that up this weekend, but I felt like I needed to throw in a little bit more about myself and connect with you, and a little bit about what I do. But I hope you've enjoyed everything you've seen so far. Like I said, it was $600 for the shed build, and that was pretty reasonable. I think that's something that a lot of people can do. Of course, a lot of people don't have the meal, but I just wanted to be fair and honest about my figures. And anyway, I'll quit yapping, and I appreciate all of you. Like I always say, your viewers is what makes the channel happen. And honestly, I would like to be in a place one day to where if my channel got big enough that it made good money, I'm going to try to give half of my money to my own local charity. I know one thing that happens a lot in my area is kids getting cancer, small kids, and it really weighs on me a lot. I care about the kids and stuff. So if I can raise money to help people, I would rather give half of my YouTube income to charity than Uncle Sam any day. So anyway, I'm going to quit yapping. I got people walking up here. They're looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm walking around my phone talking. But like I said, I appreciate all of you. It's a fine day. It's February, and it was 80 degrees yesterday. That's crazy. I'm in the eastern United States, by the way. I'm not going to try to give all my info out, but I do want to share a little bit with you. But anyway, thank you for coming back. And please come back next week, because we're going to have the nice cedar swing build that I've been yapping about so much and haven't shown you yet. And it will be delivered, my friends. Anyway, be safe. Appreciate you. See you on the next one.